What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the O Show podcast, episode 443. We are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona. The newly opened Mayweather Boxing and Fitness down there in Scottsdale. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness is an inclusive, high-intensity fitness experience developed by the champ Floyd Money Mayweather himself, formulated with the perfect combination of boxing, strength, and cardio conditioning intervals designed to make you look good, feel good, and leave you with more than just a great sweat. Head on down to Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale. We're also sponsored by betonline.ag. Sign up for that 50% bonus now by using the promo code capital BLEAV50. Again, week 11 of the NFL coming up this week. Make your picks. You got Thursday night football between the Pats and the Falcons tomorrow. We actually have a former football player in studio today as well. You played college ball?
Yes, sir.
College ball, DC Banks. Thanks so much for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
You have a ton on your plate. You got ninja training tonight. You're on American Ninja Warrior 2020 and 2021, correct?
Yes, sir.
So are you just starting the training tonight, or have you been?
No, so I've been training like all year long, but like, I don't know, every Monday and Wednesday, that's like when we really get after it. You can't do too much ninja training because you're going to tear your body up, your hands and all that.
What's the most fun part about that? From like a beginner standpoint, when you first started and you're in that group of people that are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you look at that one standout that's just like an unbelievable monkey athlete.
It's, I guess it's inspiring to like see those people, but like the most fun part about it is getting your first obstacle. As soon as you get that down, you're just like, wow, I can make so much more happen like from there or ever. So it's, I don't know, it's just fun like that. And then just building on that and just like making other things happen. And it's just, I don't know, great experience.
Have you developed any of that training into your actual just like day-to-day fitness training? Because I've seen you do some like really intense and difficult training things. Like you were like squatting, like you had the rack on your back, but you were trying to jump up onto a like one of those, you know, like pedal balls that weren't really balanced.
Yeah.
And like the first few tries, it's like you could have broken your neck if you weren't careful. I'm like, oh my God, I could never even like attempt to try this one day.
So I guess I was always a ninja, but I never knew it. And people always said, like, you should do that show. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to do that show. And then it just came out of nowhere. Long story short, I've always been, like, a type of person to compete on some type of level ever. So, like, after football happened, I tried out for NFL and all that stuff.
Right.
Didn't work out for me, so I went the rugby path, tried that out and everything. Didn't work out. Had a full-time job with my degree. And I was like, yo, this isn't for me. I need to find something else. And then long story short, one night, well, I prayed about it too much, but one night it just, like, happened. Like, I was just on YouTube one night, late at night, and an ad popped up for it. I was like, I can do this. And then it was, like, the last day of submissions. Submitted it and got a phone call, like, a week later, and it was just, like, crazy.
That's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
That must have been a really cool experience because, like, you kind of knew what you were doing, but, like, at the same time, it really didn't, like, connect first and foremost, and then it kind of all came together. Was that recently, like, within the last 5 years or so, or was it before
so
then?
The ninja
Scoot
part,
up on the mic a little bit
sorry.
too.
Yeah, so ninja, that was like December 2019
Right.
that like all like came to play, and then all the
that's
football and
crazy.
everything stopped probably like 2018. So like I had that little gap.
So was that just like, all right, this isn't working out, I gotta try something different?
Basically.
Like you finally came to that conclusion that this wasn't gonna be it? How hard is that, kind of having that realization?
Man, it's something because it's obviously a big decision. Like you got to figure out like what you want. Like I had a full-time job making great money. Or I'm like, yo, this isn't for me. This isn't my life. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to be competing, doing something. Like I have this body right now. I'm not always gonna have this. So like, why not do something with it while you can right now? But I don't know. It all worked out the way I guess it needed to. But I don't know.
You grew up in West Virginia, correct?
Yes, sir.
East Coast kid. I grew up in Jersey, so not that far from you. But you grew up probably did you play other sports besides football?
I probably
and
played
field?
about 12 different sports in my life.
All right, name 12 sports. 'Cause I could think of like 6 off the top of my head.
All right, let's see here. So some of them weren't like team sports or
Right.
whatever. So like football, basketball, baseball, rugby, soccer, wrestling, football. Did I say football? I think that was the first one. All right, so outside of that, I'm a great snowboarder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, snowboarding, ice skating. I tried lacrosse with like this club team. It didn't really work out for me. I tried swimming. Didn't really work out for me. I don't know. You know, they say black people can't swim, but it's almost a fact. But no, So right now we're at 9. Let's call it 10, and there's one more I'm missing right now.
Curling?
I haven't tried that yet. Hear me out though. I thought about trying out for that
Really?
in the Olympics one day. I'm telling you.
No
I'm
way.
just thinking everything above and beyond.
Oh my God. You're one of those guys. I've seen video. I saw one specific video of you and Chase Demore writing out all of your yearly goals. That was like back in January of this year, right?
Literally.
Have you accomplished most of those goals? Because like when you write it out into realization, like you tend to manifest it if you're really into it.
So I was just looking at that literally last night again. I'm like,
Really?
okay, we have this much time until the end of the year. What are you going to do to make your impact? I took out about, I don't know how many goals were on there, maybe about 25 or something. I probably took about 10 or 12 out. And then the other ones are out of my control, but I'm still pushing to like make them happen, I guess. So I don't know. It's just a good feeling just that I have some type of goal ahead of me to like push forward to and like look forward to and try to succeed at. So
Define out of your control. Like a few of them, like I saw like both of you said that you wanted a girlfriend by the end of 2021. That could be out of your control, you could say.
yeah, that one. So basically, I color coordinated all my
Right.
stuff.
Yep.
So that one was in yellow and red, and then my other one was verification, yellow and red. It's like the two things I don't really care about. If it were to happen, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So those two I don't really care about. But I guess more so like with the numbers on social media and stuff, I'm not buying my followers or anything. So like it was just a goal, like just putting out great content on that, and maybe it'll all come up or something. But if it doesn't, then whatever. But I'm still gonna work toward that basically.
Right. Like that's one of those goals that you can't really sweat at the end of the year. It's gonna be like, oh man, I didn't have 50,000 followers on Twitter like I expected back in January. Like that could create a really toxic mindset for you
I'm telling
if you
you.
keep going towards that. Does Chase feel the same way?
I don't know if you've seen his glow up. Chase is balling right now.
Oh,
Like,
he is. Yeah.
So like a lot of his stuff is checked off, and I'm so happy for him, and I can't wait to try to probably make another vision board with him or whatever.
I mean, it's inspiring to see like you guys actually wrote it all down and then it manifested. Both of you, you know, to certain degrees. You know, like he's blowing up right now. You could be where he is right now in 6 months.
Absolutely.
You never know. You'd be there next week if all things go according to plan.
Yes, sir.
So when did you first like know like, okay, I really have to consider football as my top, you know, sport at this age, like back, whether it be in high school or even in college?
So it literally happened. It started in high school. Long story short, I had a rough upcoming, like growing up as a foster child and everything. So I got removed from a bad situation, like a bad guardian, and placed with Maya and Tracy. Maya and Tracy is my whole world and everything. Long story short, she instilled just confidence in me and just believed in me and loved me and let me know I can do anything. So like before my senior football season, I wrote down 7 goals. I've never wrote down goals before, but I said I'm not going to stop until I get all of these.
Yeah.
So I went into practice, games, every single rep. I was like, you have to be perfect. You know what you want. You remember your goals. Make it all happen. Long story short, by the end of the season, I accomplished 6 of them. One of them I couldn't do. It was just us getting the state championship. That's a team effort. But every other huge goal that I wanted happened. And this is coming from someone that didn't even start freshman, sophomore, junior year. I just knew my focus level was just so pristine. I knew what I wanted, and I was getting it no matter what.
That's unbelievable, man. I remember like I played baseball all 4 years throughout high school. Not even remotely close to having your athleticism. I'll put that out right now. Like people who went to high school with me are like, Jack is like the worst athlete I've ever had the, you know, disdain to play with. But I went from not making the team freshman year to being on varsity sophomore year to being on JV junior year to being back on varsity senior year just because, you know, I was a senior. But like I had the weirdest timeline for my high school sports. But like I obviously didn't put in the time or effort that you did. Was it more of like an itch? Like you knew like deep down in your soul that this is something I had to do in order to fulfill it and satisfy yourself? Or was it more so the naysayers saying that you couldn't do certain things?
I think it was a little bit of both. Honestly, like speaking of naysayers, already said this is really funny about that as well. So senior year, our valley gets like a lot of the seniors on like the news or whatever, and they ask you like, what are your goals for this season, all this stuff. long story short, I was the last one to interview. All my friends are like around in the back. These are all people that been varsity, killing it, all that. So at the end, they said, "What's your ultimate goal at the end of the season?" I was like, "I'm going to go first team All State." This is coming from someone that never started anything. So as soon as I was done, I walk off. They're all laughing at me.
Yeah.
You're so funny. DC.
Who's laughing now? Holy
Yeah.
crap. That's awesome. And just by that, like you knew that like you had a monkey on your back or like a chip on your shoulder.
Yes,
They
sir.
say. Like right off the bat. You're like, I'm not gonna take it personally, but at the same time, like it's gonna be great proving you guys wrong one day.
Absolutely.
How tough was it? Because you've done obviously Ninja Warrior training. I saw you did the Murph challenge this year, which is probably one of the hardest things. I made it about halfway through just because like I enjoy fitness. I enjoy being in the best shape of my life. Like that's what gets me going. Made it about halfway through that, probably halfway through the push-up line. I'm just like, I'm calling it for the day. In the Arizona heat, I think I did it in July. You know, probably not the smartest decision. I know you also did the NFL Combine when you were still trying to make it as a pro athlete. What do you think was the hardest out of all of that, starting with the Combine?
That was the hardest. I wasn't able to handle that pressure at
Really?
that time because I remember
The
I was
pressure, and at the same time, you have to have the mentality to really be intense in the moment.
Yes. Like if I were to do that right now, I would dominate it. But back then, I just wasn't ready. Like I was the first person up on the 40-yard dash line. There's like 30 scouts with all these timers. I'm just like I'm just back there. I'm like, okay, all right, DC, you're first up. I went up there. Probably my worst time ever in my life. And I'm just like, holy crap, this is crazy. And then we had to go through like a lot of drills and all that. And I just wasn't using my technique or anything. I was just in my head the whole time. But it was a great experience. Got to meet a lot of like incredible athletes and everything, but it just didn't work out for me. But
I mean, it's tough because like you're under all of that pressure, and at the same time, you're like having these intense training sessions. Like the mentality's there, but when you get there in front of all those people, and when it's time to shine, you're like, "Where's the intensity? Where's the why? I can't find it." And you're just going based on adrenaline alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
The Murph challenge though had to be very, very exhausting.
Oh, man.
Because you did it with some like premier athletes.
Yeah. They had the energy. They provided me all the energy I needed. It was just me buckling down in my mind and saying, I can't be a punk in front of them. I have to get this done. So they were great. They were good pacers and everything, and I got a lot done. Well, I got it done, but like I got it done in, I guess, a pretty dang good time, but they were the ones who pushed me through that. I feel like if I was with another crowd, I don't know if I would have done so well, but next year I'm about to tear it up.
So what are the exact steps to that? Just so everybody
So
listening
is it
kind
a
of
40-pound vest? I think it is.
Yeah.
So 40-pound vest, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run out here in Arizona heat.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And you did it in May. That's probably right around the time where it's 95, 100 every day.
Absolutely.
I tried it in July. Again, not nearly as athletic or probably in shape as you are as well. So it was definitely something that I want to try again, because I have the mindset to do it, but I'm going to pick and choose when I do it. Like probably right around now is the best time to do it. Yeah. You know what? I'm declaring that I'm going to do it within the next month or so.
Maybe we should do it together.
Honestly, you could probably motivate me to do it. You could probably motivate me to get through it when I'm finally at that point where I'm like, all right, the intensity's gone, the why is gone. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I could easily quit right now. And then you just show up and just add a couple pounds to the weight vest, But I think that has to be one of the more disciplining things you have to do. I mean, playing football growing up, playing 12 different sports alone growing up, and then going through everything that you've gone through now. You mentioned it, having somewhat of a rough childhood, like depending on how your perspective is on it and everything. But when did you kind of realize, like, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to pursue no matter what anybody else thinks or values?
I think it all started literally, I'm not playing, just writing down those goals. That just told me everything. It told me a lot about myself and then what I am able and capable of doing.
Yeah.
Like in my life, I still have this mindset. I'll never forget it. Like literally, I can do anything. If I really focus, I can do it no matter what. So literally, it started back when I was 17 years old.
I probably figured out that I wanted to pursue like sports media or just like being a broadcaster, being a podcaster around that age. That's when it kind of like clicked for me. Like, okay, high school's not the end all be all. Like eventually, like I probably got a good 70 years left, hopefully, if I'm trying to average that out right, like looking at family genetics and everything, like I got to make something of myself. And this is what I want to do, Like I grew up, I would like mimic broadcast baseball games growing up at Yankee Stadium and stuff. I'm like, oh, like that just happened naturally. Like that's something I didn't really pay attention to at the time growing up. But then I realized, oh, like I can do this for a living. I could talk to athletes for a living. I could just interview people for a living. Like that's actually sounds really fun because it just comes natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that came natural to you at a young age, and it kind of clicked for you. But then you also had to readjust after finally coming to the conclusion that football wasn't going to be your end-all, be-all. So when did the American Ninja Warrior kind of come into play? Did people reach out to you? Was it something that you pursued personally?
So like I was saying, I was honestly just on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was watching The Voice. I always loved just watching everybody like singing or whatever and just accomplishing their dreams.
Right.
And I was just in that mode. And then the ad was American Ninja Warrior. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to try this. Like, I want to try this. Like, I need that competitive edge back in my life, and this is opportunity. I know I'm not seeing this for no reason right now.
Yeah.
Might as well take advantage of it.
And I mean, we were talking about it before, the first time you ever stepped into that, you know, kind of training mindset of trying to do all of these insanely athletic things that require a ton of agility, a ton of just core stamina and strength. Was it, you know, you looking around the other people that you did it with, were you above their standards, under them when you first started?
So when I first started, at the end of my session, basically, like, the trainers were like, yo, you have a lot of potential. But anyways, when I got in there, I wasn't doing anything right. And I was probably the lower end of the spectrum out there. And I never, like, thought I would be, like, the lower, like, anything because, like, I just do so many things. So, like, I went in there just with a big head, and then I came back out humble.
What do you think's currently, because you do a ton, but what do you think currently is the most difficult thing that you've had to do, whether it be training for that or just things that you like doing on the side when it comes to fitness?
So do you mean by like workouts or something?
Yeah,
or,
just like an insane non-traditional workout thing.
Honestly, the thing you mentioned earlier, like when I jumped up on the Bosa ball, like with the barbell on my back.
You have to be so careful doing that, dude.
I don't think about it. I just do it, and then afterward.
What's the heaviest amount that you've had on the rack while trying to do that? Or on the barbell?
Nothing crazy, like maybe like 65, 75 pounds. That's all.
That's still a lot. I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably have my 210s, maybe my 5.5 pounders on there, trying to figure out something. Because again, like that isn't like a concrete like stool that you're jumping on.
Yeah.
You have to hit that right in the middle. I feel like to balance it out, or else you're falling and that bar is coming down with you, and that could really do some damage.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my. So to go back, you don't have to go too deep into it, but I am a little bit curious, you know, taking away some of your childhood experiences and, you know, growing up with probably a bunch of different types of personalities around you. Mm-hmm. How did that shape your young mind? Do you take anything from those early on days to who you've become now?
I take it all in, and I appreciate every single thing that I've been through because it has made me into who I am today. I don't know. The best thing I think I can take from it all is that, like, I know, I mean, we have people around us and everything, but it's always going to be you and you at the end of the day. You have to take care of yourself. You got to do things for yourself and everything. And I've realized that at this age, or I've just been trying my best to create opportunities and stuff because nothing's going to be given to you, and that I've lived that. Nothing's been given to me, and I don't know. I think another thing that like stays with me still too is I need to get out of this mindset a little bit, but some people are conquering your life, some people aren't. So don't just like fall and give all your trust into like just one person or something because you might get hurt or something like that. So
yeah, I mean that's just when you have it all, you think you have it all figured out mentally. There's other things that happen in life. You make the same mistakes over and over again. Like, what do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned as aside from just like not really caring what anybody else's opinion on when you're trying to accomplish some of your goals, but at the same time surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are going to support you, building that strong support system, as opposed to, you know, going out to the bar one night and just hanging out with someone who's just like totally negative towards what you were saying and what your goals are?
Honestly, I like surrounding myself with people that are like-minded people and everything because it just like brings out more of me, more places or parts that I haven't like really like, I don't know, tapped into yet, I guess.
Yeah.
But like it just brings out my creativity. It brings out my spirit even more and all that. But yeah, I try to stay away from all like the negativity or like negative people on it because I don't need to be down. Life's just such a blessing. There's no time for wasted time. That's my
Right.
favorite thing to say because it's just, I don't know, it's facts.
When you're looking at all of these boards that you're making, what's the biggest goal right now?
Um,
2021 and beyond, I guess.
Biggest goal. Honestly, I just want to build my base, my platform off of my fitness to whatever else it might be. I don't really have a specific goal, but I know it's all going to fall into play wherever it's supposed to be. But eventually, I just want to. I know my passion in life is just to inspire people. I know I do it through fitness, but I want other realms of doing it as well in the future. So I just want to be some type of voice one day. And then another part of that is I want to be a voice for like foster children, letting them know your situation doesn't define you. No matter what, you can do anything. And I defeated those odds, and I just want to give that back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. One day giving it back, like that's the circle of life. Have you enjoyed building, the quote unquote brand on social media? 'Cause social media, it's like I use this word a lot, but it's a double-edged sword, right? It can be great building the business. It could also be the most toxic thing in the world. And then people realize it and you're like, I'm not using this anymore. But it's also going to hurt you when you're growing these things. So you have to kind of balance it out, You can't be on it too much, but at the same time, like that's what's feeding your brand.
Absolutely.
Like in the eyes of a lot of your followers that you're building.
So what was the question with that?
Like, do you enjoy it? Do you think you'll get to the point where it's like, I can't do this anymore?
So I'm already at that point right now. There's so many times I just want to disconnect from it all. But I'm like, okay, if I want to make some money, I need to like be on here and all that. But like one thing I do with social media now, like I'll post and I just get off. I do not like get on or anything. Like I'll wake up in the morning, no social media for an hour and no social media after 9 p.m. period. But like literally I'll post, get off, and then eventually like a couple days later I'll go comment back to people and all that. But I try to stay away from the scrolling and all that because that just drains me.
Going down the rabbit hole of things. I mean, I could do that for hours. Like I was telling Robin yesterday, like I'll be in bed at 9:30 just scrolling on my phone, looking at social media, reading something. Next thing I know, it's like 1 a.m. And I'm like, what happened? For like the 9th night in a row when I'm trying to, schedule out my time, get up at a good hour, go to the gym. And it's like, oh my God, waking up at 9 now. Do you have like a set schedule? Because I feel like you're very consistent when it comes to writing your goals down and writing things out on a daily basis.
For the most part, I have like an evening routine and a morning routine throughout the day. I don't know. I guess it's planned throughout the week, and then the weekends just like whatever. I'm just trying to make my content usually on the weekends or whatever, or like connect with like people I met during the week or something like that. But set schedule, for the most part, I guess, because I have to stay organized. I have to have structure. If I don't, I'm all over the place. That's when anxiety comes out and everything. So I try to do my best to stay on a schedule.
I tried my best to stay on like a clear-cut hourly schedule. And it like works a few times, but then like something comes up that you weren't planning and it kind of like messes everything up. And then it's hard to mentally stay in that mindset of just like, oh man, like that set 3 things back and now you're spiraling out of control again. But that's very smart. And you growing up on the East Coast, now being out in Arizona, have you kind of noticed a different, vibe? Or do you think that you've surrounded yourself with similar like-minded people your entire life?
Definitely different. You know that being from the East Coast as well. It's just different out here. One thing I did like notice as soon as I got out here was just like the energy. I love like everybody likes working out and stuff. I mean, the sun's out so much, so like people just like that, and that's what I should have been a part of. Being back home, you have your gray skies, and I call people from my town sometimes zombies because they're just like stuck. They're not motivated. They're doing the same thing for the rest of their lives and all that. So definitely a different vibe in that aspect, I guess. So I don't know. It's different out here, big time.
I think that's like the biggest difference. Like the sun's always out. It's always like at very least 65 and sunny in Arizona. You're able to get your workout in. You're able to feel good 365. Where like you growing up probably experienced half the year is just cold, gray, snow, slush, rain, hail, everything in between. And it's like, how can you be happy around that? Especially if you're not in a great mindset to begin with. It just tramples on top of it. So that's very, again, enlightening to hear, because some people I talk to from back east are just like, what are you talking about? It's awesome. Never wanted to leave home.
That's not me.
Do you think you'll ever leave Arizona?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm a modern day nomad. That's how I describe myself. But like I don't know. It's cool here for now, but I do not see myself like staying here forever. But who knows? I might end up back here. Who I don't
I
know.
mean, it's definitely been a great experience, probably for you. It's been a great experience for me being out here. But like, I'm again one of those people, like probably you. You want to seek more knowledge. You want to seek more opportunities elsewhere. Like, this is a humongous world, man. Like, you want to see all of it. Do you know where else you'd want to go?
Um, One of my biggest goals is just to travel. I want to eventually get my business to whatever to make my money wherever I am. So, yeah, I just need to travel the world. I want to experience different cultures, different life experiences. I just want to just be free and live life actually.
So, what specifically would you want to do outside of, being an athlete, being on American Ninja Warrior, obviously this upcoming season and last? Like, are there any other businesses and brands that you'd want to build? Obviously, you have just Wait on It right now. You're going to build that up as well, and have been for a while.
Hmm. Honestly, I just play it by ear and I
Yeah.
trust God and I know whatever I want, I will manifest and I'll make it work out. I might not have the idea right now, but it'll come to me when I need it to come and I'm just gonna play it from there. So I'm not sure yet, but I know I'll know when I need to know.
What did you major in school?
Criminal justice.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you done anything with that?
Yeah, so that was the job I did.
Right.
Yeah, I worked with kids at a placement. So it was a level 4 placement in West Virginia. So these are troubled kids, like with conditions like it can be something from like petty, like theft, drug charges, fighting, mental health, anything. But I was in like a facility like with all of them ever. And the reason I chose that job is because I knew how it was growing up as a kid for myself, and I was like, I can relate to these kids a little bit more like from experience than someone that just got a degree. So I tried that out for about a year and it was very, very rewarding, but very, very stressful. But I'm so glad that I did it. Like even to this day, that was 3 years ago, the kids will still like reach out to me like, how are you? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? So I know I made my impact and that just brings me joy.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, you having experienced that yourself, like, you probably influenced those kids to be like, oh, well, like he's one of us, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Did you have the dreads back in the day, or is this
So
new?
these things came, I think it was shortly after football. I was just like, you know what? My
Just say,
barber.
did you have them with the helmet? Like,
No,
that's gotta be.
I'm telling you, I would have been 10 times better as an athlete
You
with
think?
dreads. I swear. Think about it. Dreads just give you an extra attribute to all your attributes, I swear. But no, I got it like right after football ever. So I had it during rugby. And no, I just wanted to do it. One of my barber, one of my teammates, he was my barber for like 4 years. He's like, man, you need to dread this up because I had like the little fro hawk or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't want those. And then finally I got them and I had the awkward stage. I looked like a little alien at the beginning, but now they're like flourishing. So it looks great.
So you started them young then?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing that. I mentioned the fact just to see what the reaction would be in my household. I'm like, I think dreadlocks might be my next look. Didn't get the approval from the roommates, but it looks great on you, though.
I appreciate it.
I don't think it would have been great with a football helmet, though, just because you got to take that thing off. It probably would have yanked back your hair. Like, being a football player, I always had a buzz cut. I always had the skinhead.
Yeah. I think it would have been pretty cool though. Like I see
Yeah.
all my teammates and stuff with the dress. I'm just like, yo, they're cool. Like that. This look. I don't know. It's just like it makes you swaggier on the field, basically.
It's just your superhero. It's like your
Yeah.
cape.
I'm telling you.
So we were talking beforehand that we were going to start off the episode with this. Totally didn't. Totally went off the rails. Your Gymshark collaboration.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Man, long story short, I'm just a guy. I always try to create opportunities for myself, and I always want to do it differently than the next guy. So long story short, one day I just sat in my room, and I wrote letters.
Really?
Wrote letters, looked up all the U.S. Corporate offices for like about 20 companies, and I sent those letters out. I just spent all day writing like my story from beginning to end, real simplified or whatever, but sent it out. Wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted to put it in the university. I did something today. So anyways, long story short, 4 months later, Body Armor got back to me. They were just like, man, like we got your letter. Your story is truly heart wrenching. You're gonna make it one day and all this. Unfortunately, I'm not part of the sponsorship team, but reach out to them and we can see what we can do, whatever. And then that didn't turn out to be anything. And then Gymshark, they reached out to me. They're like, wow, I really appreciate like your authenticity, by writing letters. No one does that. People just try to DM us and stuff, but like you wrote a letter, and I can tell like you really want this or whatever. And then it was like, we're gonna send you some items and just like to show you our appreciation, and you're gonna make it. And long story short, the next day I got my items, and then the next day they reached out. They were like, I hope you don't mind, like the person I was talking to, I hope you don't mind, but I passed your information off to the sponsorship team. Would you like to make like a couple videos for us for some money and get some like more merchandise? I'm like, yes, like
Sounds like a
absolutely.
win-win.
I'm telling you. But it was awesome. Well, I'm still in the process of it, but like my goal right now is to make like the best content. So hopefully I can get sponsored by them.
Are you doing that all by yourself, or do you
Yeah.
have a team with you?
No, it's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Are you good with camera work and
Oh,
just your phone?
I'm telling you. So like one of my other quotes I love living by is do what you can with what you have where you are. I haven't always like I don't even have anything crazy. I got a GoPro and I got my camera. Now I have a lot of friends around me so I can get airdrop. But like from the beginning, I just started playing with videos, start making my videos, playing with them, editing. And I've probably been editing for like 10 years. I can make a whole vlog on my phone, and people are fascinated by that. And I'm just like, yeah, I had to do what I had to do, and I don't care about any software. I'll pay $5 for this and do it all right here.
Oh my God. I mean, GoPro alone, I think I can already tell with your background and everything, like you probably have a blast shooting different things, whether it be like in the middle of a workout or in the middle of, even doing your stuff on TV for Ninja Warrior. Just have a GoPro on your head the entire time,
Yeah,
shooting everything.
You're not allowed to have the GoPro out there with you, but I usually like sneak it around and get my vlog around or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You got to build your page at the same time.
Absolutely.
You're multitasking. What are the regulations, the do's and don'ts when it comes to the stuff on Ninja Warrior? Is there anything like absurd, or is it just basically
It's not
standard?
crazy. Basically, they don't really want you recording, but if you record or something, do not post it until the episode's out. They don't
Right,
want
that makes sense.
they don't want any of that, or you're just gonna be knocked. Long story short, one of my buddies did that. He just like posted like just something inside of the arena, phone calls, emails, like probably 10 or 15 things within 20 minutes to him. Like you're gonna be kicked off here if you don't take that down. Da 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 da. So like they're very strict on that. But I understand too. So it's a business. Yeah.
100%. I mean, and to that point, like the business side of things could get in the way as long as you're not letting it get in the way. Like you're gonna be fine, especially as like a quote unquote talent on the show. Like you find other ways to do your stuff. Like I've seen you do like, what's it's like a brief talk show that you did in the park with your buddy.
Oh yeah, Park Talk. I had a
Park
couple.
Talk.
Yeah.
Like you just like off the top of your head, like you're coming up with all of these new creative ways to put out content.
Yeah.
You ever thought about like doing like a full blown podcast?
Yes. So I guess that's one of my plans in the future, doing something like that, because I've just met so many incredible people already throughout this journey. So one day I want to do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you're an inspiration to me if you didn't know that. Thank you.
I don't think I'm an inspiration
You
to
are.
anybody, but
To me, though.
I appreciate the kind words though.
Yes, sir.
Who on the topic of inspiration? Who's the most inspirational person in your life that you grew up, whether it be watching on TV or someone that kind of showed you the ropes at a young age from an athletic standpoint, that told you like this is like sports were the thing that you wanted to do growing up?
I don't even know. Sports was just like my way of coping, honestly. Like I didn't want to be in the house or anything, so that was just the thing I always did. I guess my brother always pushed me like to do sports and all that, and he was always like doing them. And he swore he was so good, but he wasn't all that great. But I was like, I need to be better than him. So I guess he gave me a competitive edge in that aspect. And then whenever I got my Aunt Tracy, she just made it all click.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very fascinating. That's actually really cool. Because, like, you look at all these people growing up, like, I'm watching, like Alex Rodriguez growing up playing for the New York Yankees. Like, oh, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. But, like, you had someone in your life that wasn't, like, necessarily, clear cut, like, I want to be exactly like them. It was more just like, you're inspiring me to pursue what I want to pursue.
Yeah. I
That's
never really
interesting.
I never really had anybody. I mean, I like a lot of people ever, but like, I don't think I've ever, I can't think of one.
Like, you can take bits and pieces from people that you like to create this.
I think I did unsubconsciously. I think
Yeah.
I did that.
Wow. Who would be a dream guest if you were to have a podcast?
A dream guest.
Someone that you'd really want to ask curious questions to.
Oh my goodness, there's a few of those. But I think top of my list just because I already know how mentally strong I am, but I need to see that next level mentally. I guess David Goggins, like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Goggins, you hear insane stories from him on multiple different podcasts, multiple different perspectives from people that have worked with him. Like, you can pay to have him live at your house for a month, and then he just trains with you. Wakes you up at 3:30 in the morning.
Doesn't that sound
Let's get up,
awesome?
motherfucker. Like,
I'm
this
telling
is like, I honestly don't think like it would be hell in the moment, but it would be something I'd be grateful looking back on. Like, he did some pretty effed up things over that last month working with him, but at the same time, like, I'm never gonna have an experience like that ever again. That's gonna be a
Absolutely.
great story one day.
Something to last you a lifetime right there.
Goggins is one. Jocko Willink is another. I feel
Ooh.
like you probably have a fun time talking to. I'm trying to think. Jordan Peterson's like a great philosopher slash professor that I think would be great to pick the mind of. I'm trying to think of any like other big, strong, like both mentally and physically willed.
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
I know there's someone. There's definitely
Like, there's
someone.
obviously the
Top of
big
my-
names like The Rock or, Kevin Hart's got a ton of great
Yeah.
inspirational quotes and stories. But I think that you nailed it right on the head with Goggins. That guy went from obese, 400 plus pounds to what he is now. And he almost destroyed his body too. Like, if you've listened to any of his stuff, like he destroyed his legs, running marathons, like didn't know quite how to do it at first, but still had the mental capacity to get up, seek more knowledge and info on how to become an athlete, whether it be nutrition, training techniques, how much you got to put into your diet every single day in order to actually be fit in a healthy way, as opposed to taking all these supplements and overworking your body.
Yeah.
Did you have those struggles early on when it came to getting like in the top tier shape of your life? Like, you were just kind of like, this is what I have to do, this is what I see people do, and this is the way to do it, as opposed to saying like, I'm my own person, everybody has their own DNA, their own body, like it doesn't work. What works for him isn't going to work for me.
Just how my mindset is when I like go and do things or create opportunities. That's exactly how I am with that. Like, I don't care what anybody else says. I'll listen to it, and if it's like, I don't know, if it's science or something, like I'll listen to it, maybe apply it, but I never went by anything like strictly that someone said or anything. Like, even to this day right now, believe it or not, I don't like do supplements or anything crazy. Like, I'll get my vitamins in the morning and that's it. Maybe some protein after work or whatever. One thing I do, I mean, the older you get, you do need to put more things into your body on that. But like right now, I don't really have anything crazy going on with any of that. My nutrition, it's pretty good. I like meal prep at least 4 days of the week, and then I get my pizza at least once a week. People, they're always like, "Oh, you look like that." Yeah, I still eat a pizza too. Like, I eat bad. It's all good, but I work out as well.
I had a kid in high school. It was like Monday through Thursday, straight dieting, whatever he was eating. And then Friday, he'd come in with about 3 or 4 different plates of just straight up fries.
Oh, wow.
Fries, so like straight up like McDonald's French fries, probably like 2,000 calories worth.
Oh, that's nice.
And that was his thing.
That's interesting. That's actually really fascinating. Because, like, your body, I feel like after you put so much good stuff in there and then you revert back to, like, bad stuff sometimes, like, it can mess your body up or make you feel sick or something sometimes. So,
What kind of, during all this training, because again, like, you didn't really care, like, what other people were doing, but at the same time, now you're that guy who trains like nobody else. What's the playlist? What's the music inspirations for you?
oh, man. If you were to see my playlist right now, you would
Is it all over the place?
You would laugh because I literally will put on shuffle, just not a specific playlist. Like, we will go from Young Dolph just died today. We'll go from Dolph. He gave me a lot of energy. Dolph right here to Frank Sinatra right there to Mariah Carey, Christmas to freaking Luke Bryan. I'm everywhere. To All Time Low. Like, literally, I vibe to whatever.
You had me from Young Dolph to Frank Sinatra.
I'm telling you.
Talk about polar opposite.
And I love it.
That's unbelievable. So when do you have ninja training tonight?
6:30.
6:30. I'll let you prep for at least a few hours because again, that is insane stuff going on. But I do want to thank you so much for coming in and taking the time. You didn't have to do this, but you ended up coming into the studio, and hopefully we could do it again soon.
Oh yeah.
You know, collaborate with some of the merch that you're coming out with as well. You know, continue to help push out your message and what you're trying to accomplish moving forward. You know, before you leave Arizona too.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be all over the place, man.
One day.
One day, well, hopefully one day soon. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Keep writing out your stuff.
I'm very patient. I'm trusting the process. So whenever it needs to happen, it's going to happen, and I'm good.
I love it, man.
One day at a time.
I love the mentality. Well, this was episode 443 of the podcast. We are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness. 443 with DC Banks in the house. Hank, kill the lights, man.